going. But hold on just a second for me. And can you hear
Somerhalder, I'm repping, so I'm just saying.
I see that. I had to get mine out. Yeah, I appreciate mine out too. I'm very impressed.
So, yeah, I have a couple of things I need to get started as my live stream is going.
Added something to the background there, Dr. Westfall.
Well, see, this is Michelle's contribution to this fun, joyous stuff.
I love the carrots. Those carrots are so cool.
It's gonna change all the time just because that's how she feels like she's giving back.
That's awesome. I love it.
And I just say, okay, honey.
You should have ice cream sitting there one time. Real ice cream.
Got a big bucket of it.
Yeah.
Melting.
And if you can see, I don't even know if you can see, but there's like a countdown clock down here. We're about 30 seconds off of what is actually going to be going on, but don't worry.
Oh, Greg, I'm not worried. It'll be great.
Well, good. I'm glad. And real quick, I'm going to mute everybody but Dr. Westfall, because it's just going to be simpler for me when we get into that, and then I'll unmute him and talk to you guys in between. And also, just sort of in advance, anything that's playing right here is what's being seen out to it's like our program window. So this is just to help me double check that everything's going out nice and good, and already it is, so that's good. We have 1 minute and 40 seconds. Just about 35 seconds.
Perfect.
Well, hello and welcome to our special Ask Talon for tonight. It's a video Ask Talon, which is a little bit different than normal. My name is Greg Yonda. I'm the student media advisor here at Timber Creek High School. We have some very special guests with us to help answer some questions as we get back into online learning for March 23rd, which is tomorrow. Today is March 22nd. It's 7 o'clock, and so it's a Sunday night, so it's about time to ask Talon a bunch of questions. If you have any questions, feel free to chat us up. We are on Facebook, we are on Twitter, Periscope, or we are on Twitch. You are more than welcome to send us a message, and we'll try to get the answers to the questions. But our first guest here tonight is somebody that I hope that you know who he is. His name is Dr. Rick Westfall, and thank you very much, Dr. Westfall, for being with us today.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.
So I think the first question that we've got right out the bat is, how did you come up, well, not just you specifically, how were the decisions made to help us do social distancing at this time?
So first off, thanks, Greg, for just allowing me to talk on Ask Talon. I know this is a great way to connect to our community and a great way that you're connected to our kids and our parents. Honestly, you can go back to the progression of some of these decisions, and it was based entirely on the Tarrant County Health Department and or the state coming out and saying, here's what we recommend next, here's what we recommend next. And as school districts, we were pretty much at the mercy of those decisions because we're not the health professionals. You know, we're the educators. So we did what we were asked to do, and then shockingly enough, in a matter of less than a week, our staff and everybody around has just buckled down and figured out what is this going to look like now that we're in this for a little bit longer. Now that the state has shut us down through April the 3rd.
And so you mentioned April the 3rd. That means that we would actually be back on campus around April the 6th right now.
Yeah. So through April the 3rd, right? I mean, so
Right.
that's Friday. That doesn't mean we're going to come back on April the 3rd. That means we're, Governor Abbott has said all schools are closed down through April the 3rd. I don't know, are they going to start evaluating a week before that? Are they going to evaluate on April the 3rd to tell us what's next? That part we don't know until we're given some more information.
And so that's the big question I think a lot of people are having is when they go through the determination of if it needs to be any longer, what's the process of that look like behind the scenes?
Here's how it's been explained to me. They are looking for trends in their data. So for all of the math nerds out there and all the statisticians and the teachers the math teachers, they're really looking for trends. They're looking to see if cases are increasing, positive cases. I don't know that they're necessarily going all the way to the extreme of deaths necessarily. I think what they're really trying to rein in is just that community spread piece. They have talked a lot about, hey, if you have community spread in your county, then you're going to be at a higher risk than, for example, someplace way out in West Texas that hasn't even seen it yet than they are. And that's really, if you think about how big Texas is, one of the reasons why Texas hasn't gone to the lengths the way it's been explained to me again that some states have is because Texas is humongous. And there are just some places that just haven't seen it and may not ever see it. And so they've just made some decisions that, they haven't gone statewide shelter in place like some states have because they don't feel like that's necessary. But if you go back from the very beginning when they didn't really want to do statewide shutting down of schools, and then within 5 to 7 days, suddenly we're at statewide shutting down of schools, there is that progression based on what they're seeing in terms of positive cases.
Yeah, a couple of people are asking also about the Dallas stay-at-home order that's done by
just came out, right?
Well, I mean, just came out, Judge.
I mean, literally just came out.
That's true, Judge Clay Jenkins over there in Dallas County. Are those kind of conversations happening at Tarrant County, or do you know yet?
Yeah. So we're on regular daily calls. So I'm on a daily call with Judge Whitley with Tarrant County, not just me personally. Like mayors and superintendents all over Tarrant County are on this call, listening to the advice or to in this case, not just recommendations. Now they're giving directives And I'm also on a call with Commissioner Morath with TEA every day as well. So not only are we hearing from what's our operational piece look like from a county perspective, but then we're also talking about what does that look like educationally from the Texas Education Agency's perspective.
And when we talk about Texas Education Agency, one of the questions that people always have is about waivers and how are we going to do the mechanics of being gone. Can you explain a little bit about what you know from that situation?
Yep, absolutely. So here's what I'll do is I'll go ahead and I'll put all students' mind at ease right now. This does not extend into the summer.
That's, I mean,
Take it off your plate. He's been very clear that here was the phrase that he has used, and that we'll be able to own very easily in Keller. As long as we're providing some level of instructional support, and that's the phrase he's been using, then we will be able to fill out a waiver, send it in, and with some level of here's an example of what we've done, and it'll get approved. So it is, they are not going to go over this thing with a fine tooth comb. They know everybody's in a bad situation right now. So if one of those things that keeps people up at night is, are we going to go to July to make all this stuff up? No, because we're providing instruction. So this is going to be our waiver rationale to not go past our normal Memorial Day weekend.
So that's great to hear. Not only for the students, it's great for the teachers to hear. We definitely miss our students. Christopher McDaniel out here in Facebook wants to know if you're going to read another book this week on Facebook Live.
Hey, that seemed to go well. So yeah, I have a funny feeling that's now something we'll do. But what was funny, Greg, is that I actually had more comments about my dogs than I did about the actual book reading. So the dogs are going to have to make a reentry into this whole scene, and the background decorations will probably change because my wife will want to make sure we're keeping that alive and well. So yeah, well, there'll be another book.
Awesome. You mentioned just a couple minutes ago about instructional, what's needed for instructional to make sure that we are continuing to help our students. And a guest here in just a couple of minutes, Michelle Somerhalder, who's the principal of Timber Creek, is going to help us detail that a little bit more. But what are some of the thought process district-wide to get the quality of instruction out to our students?
Yeah. So here's what everybody needs to understand. The concept of doing online learning might sound like it's really easy because you just open up your computer and you're on Canvas or you're on whatever platform you're on and you just download some stuff and you learn. Poof. The concept of online learning is actually a really difficult practice, and it takes people a while to get that groove down, not only for teachers, but for kids, because students are having to figure out a routine at home when normally their routine is built into their school day. So you got lots of distractions at home that you got to figure out how to create that routine. You got a space now you got to figure out at home so that you're not distracted when you're trying to do schoolwork. But here's what's been amazing is that our staff, our teachers and our support staff have I mean, accelerated isn't even the right word. I can't come up with the word I need for this. This is normally like a year in the making when you create online learning materials and resources, and we've done it in 5 days to help take that stress off of the teachers' backs. Now, obviously, the teachers are now going to figure out how to implement it. But some of the things, in fact, we sent out the email on Friday to the entire community about how this is rolling out and the fact that it's not grade driven. It's literally what it should be about always, which is just in learning. This is about learning. This is about continuing your learning. This is keeping the summer slide from extending from just the standard summer into potentially 2 or 3 weeks now. We don't want there to be a gap. So we have created the C&I department has created 500 lessons K-12. to support what this is going to look like, knowing that it's going to look messy and it's going to look not perfectly planned the way we want it to, because we literally put it together in 5 days.
Yeah, and so that's one of the things that add to and you had a fantastic quote on the staff call about putting the airplane together as it is flying,
Yeah.
and we are too. So thank you to the people who are asking where did Dr. Westfall go and whatever on our video stream, because I'm messing with a couple of things. I wanted to show
I'm still
our.
here, I promise.
He's still here. We promise. So I wanted to show a little bit of information about that technology piece specifically from our Keller ISD website. So as we shift this kind of over a little bit, one of the things Dr. Westfall was just talking about, and you're still here, but they're going to distribute Chromebooks to those who need them during the closure. All of this information is available on the kellerisd.net website under the COVID response, specifically the technology support stuff, including where you can pick up these Chromebooks and how to request one, because we need to track these. We need to make sure they come back when they are, hopefully, when we're back at school and all of that kind of stuff. So please, if you are a technology, if you're in need of technology, please make sure to go to the kellerisd.net website that has all of this information. Additionally, one of the things that is really interesting to me is how some of our communication companies, AT&T, Charter, Comcast, all those people are offering up specific deals to try to help people who have connection issues. So definitely check those out if you're watching our stream. Hopefully you're seeing some of that information scrolling by, but all of this information is on Keller ISD's website. So please, please, please go check that out while we are continuing to have this conversation. We'll bring Dr. Westfall back in. Again, he's back. Again, sorry if people could not hear him or see him for a second. There's a little bit of delay, and we're doing this from our remote studio, which is essentially in Mr. Yonda's bedroom. Well, not bedroom, but like in his office. So, in any case, Dr. Westfall, what other information would you like to share with the Keller ISD public in general about this time?
I will say our community has been, frankly, amazing. Everybody understands that we're doing the very best we can do right now. The kids, I've received emails from kids that have they're asking really good questions, but they also ask it with a lot of grace, because they know that this is not something we're willingly going in and doing. This is, we'd rather be back in school. We'd rather be back in classrooms. This is not a happy, fun time for all of us either. So, what I would say is to hang in there with us and to continue to express that same level of support and grace to your teachers, because this is gonna, when they start rolling out the online learning stuff, the e-learning piece. Yes, they need communication when it doesn't work. If you're getting frustrated with something, yes, they need that communication so they can get better and they can tweak. But do it in a way that is for improvement, not just because we're mad and frustrated about it, because no one wants to be in this situation. And so I think everybody gets that. And like I said, it's been an amazing. The communities have just been phenomenal about how they've supported us through all this.
Well, great. Thank you very much for all your time here today. Some of our viewers out here, some of the people who are sending us in some information, wanted to thank you and let you know how they appreciated all the information putting out there, especially the people behind the scenes, like our partners at Sodexo. I really like the stuff that those folks have been able to do for our community have been fantastic. Can you speak to that for just a second?
Yeah, so Sodexo is our food service group providers, and again, let's see, we found out on this past Friday, but a week before Friday, that this was all happening, and within a weekend, they had turned around 5 sites for feeding our kids who needed to be fed. First day, 976 kids were fed.
That's great.
Then we came up with the idea. Now understand, this is not just opening up the doors and putting a tent up and saying, here, come get some food. We had to have nurses on site. We do health screenings every day, because we don't want our employees there if they're sick. So this is not just relatively haphazard thing. We've got a lot of things that go into place. So on Monday we had 5 sites. Then on Monday it was requested to add sites because parents couldn't get to the sites that we were at. So within 24 hours, they turned around 6 additional sites to get more kids access to food. So by the time the week ended, again, it's insane to me when you look at some of this data and how fast things turned around. But by the time the week ended, we went from feeding 976 kids. On Friday, we fed 3,400 kids. And it was by that point, we had even shifted to breakfast and lunch. So it's hard to get your mind wrapped around the amount of work and how impactful it's been in such a short period of time. But yeah, they've been amazing.
Yeah, and I've seen those numbers being shared on Twitter, and that is a great way to get some more information from you. You are quite a popular dude on Twitter. If you don't follow Dr. Westfall yet, you got to make sure you do, because if only because Kelly Clarkson gave him a shout out the other day.
She did. Yeah, that was somewhat stunning. But yeah, when you're quote tweeted by Kelly Clarkson, I mean, you got to be doing something right? I mean.
Well, yeah, hopefully doing a lot of things right. So thank you for your time here tonight. We're going to take we want to send a good little message out, and then we're going to be back with Timber Creek Principal Michelle Somerhalder here in just a minute. But we want to send out a message because as we've been gathering information here from our different faculty members here, we wanted them to send out a little message of hope to all of our viewers, all of our Falcon family, and so we're going to send out at least the first message here in just about half a second, as soon as I can get my buttons to press correctly.
Hola, familia de Falcon, Señor Biggs, aquí estoy hablando español todavía. Hope everyone's having a great time.
Right.
This week
Thanks,
is going to
Greg.
be awesome when you start learning things online.
Bye, Michelle.
Please keep
Have a
me
good night.
updated. If you're
Tell
one
James
of
I
my
said hi.
students, I'll see you on our Canvas or on Remind. But if you're not a current student, please stop by and email, Twitter. Let us know how things are going. We miss you, and we know it's going to be a good week. I hope you learn a lot. And a future Falcon wants to say,
hi, Falcons.
Have a great night. We'll see you this week online.
A lot of people it keeps wanting to talk. Sorry about that. We hope to see a lot of people online here. We have our progress into online learning this week starting tomorrow, and so we wanted to make sure that we got the head of Timber Creek High School, the principal, Michelle Somerhalder, here to give some information and to sort of answer some questions for that. So how are you, Mrs. Somerhalder?
Thanks for having me. It's so great to see everyone here online and see the Falcon family and reconnect. So thanks for having me on here. Yeah. All of his awesome lectures and keeps me up to date with all the current events. And there's really some amazing things going on. Fine arts and all of our cores are really working hard to get everything put together for online instruction. So I'm super proud, and I think you'll be really impressed with what our Falcon teachers probably have already sent you something just because they're so awesome and want to kind of get you all the learning that you need. But it's been really great to see and a lot of fun to put it together. So that's definitely starting on Monday. If you have yet to receive anything, you sure will. So one of the things that has come up is we realize that there's lots of Zoom meetings happening all at one time. So we're currently putting together a schedule of different departments as to when they'll be holding their meetings. So students can kind of see, they can get into all their different meetings without having too many conflicts. So we're currently working on that to help with that technology piece that we didn't realize was happening. But yeah, that's something that we can definitely work on. So I've gotten a couple questions about that, and thank you for reaching out and letting us put something like that together.
Yeah, we've got a lot of teachers who are, who are trying to learn this process at the same time as all of the other people who are out there in, not only teaching each other how to make sure that this all works. So, for parents, for students, what are some of the things that they need to know about grades specifically?
So right now you'll see just resources, some really great curriculum and instruction resources coming out. Currently grades are not being assessed with anything that's coming right now. So you'll just be able to kind of work through those and see what your teachers are sending and just be able to connect with them. And I know our teachers are really excited too to really put together some Zoom meetings with their classes. They're doing some office hours and things of that nature. So you'll see some really cool things coming through.
Yeah, so we've got a bunch of people who are using a bunch of different sources. One thing that I would recommend, just from my perspective as a teacher here, is if you are a parent or a student, check your email, please. Check your Keller ISD email often, because a lot of those messages coming out from your teachers are going to go directly to those Keller ISD emails. So make sure that those are ready to go and visible for everybody. Something else, like all of the sports activities, things that have unfortunately been canceled. How does that affect? Do you think? How does that affect campus morale? I guess, for a lack of a better term, Ms. Somerhalder.
Yeah, and I know one of the main things to me is really the Falcon family. I know we worked really hard. This is our 11th year. We really worked hard to put the Falcon family together. So Ms. Stewart and Mr. Yonda and I have all had conversations about how we put something together digitally to make sure that we don't lose any of those pieces. So I know, from sporting events not being able to take place and all these different things, we want to be at school, but at this point we can't. So we're trying to figure out some really creative ideas, and we're definitely open to suggestions on how we put together, whether it be a Zoom pep rally or really how we put together some really awesome events to make sure that we're doing something creative and innovative, but we're also celebrating Falcon family, and really still getting to connect with each other, because that's a huge piece of who we are. And I think that's really something we can continue to do with technology. And I know y'all have some really great ideas. So Falcons, if you have some really great ideas or you want to do some things, please let me know, because I think we can definitely put that together with the media department we have and some really awesome people working behind the scenes. So.
I mean, we're trying. We're trying to do to do what we can. Different ways of trying to communicate to people. A great suggestion from one of our people who is following and sending in messages too for parents and students: go into the Home Access Center and make sure your email is updated to one you check regularly. That's obviously a great technique, something that you want to do to make sure that you've got the latest information out there. I'm also going to encourage you, maybe follow the Talon on Twitter or subscribe to notifications. Make sure you go to timbercreektalon.com, where we're going to continue to update and have information going on. One question we've gotten, Ms. Somerhalder, from some of the people who are out there in Twitter land and all this other kind of stuff, is what impact is this going to have on our seniors?
Yes, and seniors, hello to all of you. I've been thinking about you a lot lately, and I know this is a very difficult time. I know you're thinking about all the amazing things that are happening during your senior year that you kind of feel like you're missing out on right now, and just know that we are thinking of you and we care about you. I know this is a very difficult time, but we're always kind of trying to think of outside the box things. We don't really have any answers yet on what those things will look like, but we want to make sure somehow we're going to celebrate you, and celebrate that time, because I know you've worked so hard to get where you are and be in your senior year. So we're definitely really going to try to see how we do some things outside the box to make sure we're celebrating you. And but I know it's a very difficult time for all of us, but seniors especially. I'm truly thinking of you during this time, and I know you're wanting to get back, and so we're all of we wanting to get back, and just seeing how that's going to work out. That's a great question.
Yeah, one of the challenges I know for all of us right now, both as parents and as teachers and as administrators and as people who care about all of our students, is a little bit of that uncertainty about when all of this is going to kind of settle down just a little bit and figure out all of that kind of stuff. What kind of decision-making process are you able to make behind the scenes to help support both our teachers and our students with special needs and other people that we're trying to serve that are specifically in the Falcon population?
Yeah, that's been really great because as a feeder pattern, we are very well aligned. So every day, as Dr. Westfall mentioned, talking about just different meetings that he's involved in, every day I sit with Dr. Shivers, our assistant superintendent, and all of our other Falcon Feeder principals to really sit down and look at all the things that are happening and how we keep everyone updated and how we're all communicating. So all of those pieces, and then just being able to be a part of working with special education and working with our English language learners and working with our dyslexia learners and all these just different pieces that we want to make sure we're not letting slip through the cracks. So there's just a lot of collaboration, which is really great, as you can see on this medium here, of just being able to see people as we communicate, and we can share screens, and really there's some amazing things like Google or Google Drive and working with different resources and being able to collaborate. So all of those things are definitely happening behind the scenes, and there's lots of just really amazing people that are really working really hard to make sure that we're following what our expectations are and then making sure that we're getting all of those out. The technology piece is really exciting for me. Talking about Sodexo and the food has been really amazing to reach our students. And we just want to do whatever we can and do more and more to make sure we still feel connected during this time, as that's really, really important to me.
And you definitely mentioned some highlights. If people haven't been following Mike Otto and Adrian Kirtley and some of the other people who have been doing some really cool stuff out there to connect with their students, we have a lot of people who are doing group chats and Zoom chats and all kinds of stuff. So if you're a student in some of those classes, you've definitely heard from those teachers already, and things are going on. What would you suggest for students or parents who maybe haven't heard from their teacher yet? What should they do in this process, especially as we start this up?
Yeah, and I know some of the concerns as we move forward is just making sure we're able to connect with you. We want to make sure that we're reaching you. So if you haven't received anything, I would just, reach out to me. Send me an email, just kind of connect with me and let me know that you haven't heard anything yet. There may be an issue that we can fix with your email address, or something's not working in technology wise, but we want to make sure and we want to make sure we're doing it kind of right away. If we're missing something or we're not getting you what you need, that you kind of reach out to us and let us know. I'm always available. So please just shoot me an email and just send me something and let me know that maybe those pieces aren't working the way we need them to be. And we will definitely make sure that we're making that happen.
Well, great. What other kind of messages would you like to send out to our Falcon family here tonight as we kind of gather together by the roar of the video screens?
Yes, I think the main part is we care about you and we miss you very much. I know the best part of my day was always being able to walk down the hall and hear a story from one of our Falcons, or have them share good news about getting into a certain college, or just tell me about their day. So the staff members are all out there. The Falcon family staff is really caring about you as well. They put together lots of messages for you. They're working really hard behind the scenes to make sure you get what you need, but we are learning during this time. So please make sure you're taking the opportunity to, as Mr. Yonda said, check your emails, make sure you're connecting with that curriculum and still kind of continuing that process, as that's what we want to be here for you and doing that. But we miss you very much, and we hope to get together soon. If not, this is our new medium. So feel free to reach out if you need to connect, or I hope to be doing a lot more of these to be able to answer questions and just kind of do some things where we can, again, continue to kind of meet together and see what we can all do as we work together as a Falcon family.
Yep, and we're all learning stuff here behind the scenes. Hopefully, I have a whole team, all the media kids who are behind the scenes literally behind me right now. But the TCTV kids are behind the scenes watching this. The talent kids are behind the scenes watching this. Hi guys, thank you so much for tuning in. But we are learning through this process of how to do something completely different than we normally do. Normally we do studio shows like this where we have multi-camera angles and stuff in the studio, but we can't do that in this world, and so they are learning from this process, and hopefully we can do a lot more of this for you people at home, and for the people who are sending in messages. We really appreciate you tuning in, all 600-ish kind of people who are watching right now, which is fantastic, so I really appreciate it. Thank you for your time, Miss Somerhalder, and we'll say goodbye to you for now.
And I'm really excited. One more thing, I get to meet with the student council officers and class officers on Tuesday, so if that's you, I'm really excited to talking to you, and as we move forward, maybe we can do some more club organization meetings and really get some more things put together. So thank you so much.
All right, awesome. Thank you so much. We're going to shift just a little bit. We're going to share another positive message out there from one of our Falcon teachers here, Mr. Elms from our theater department. Sent a message in for all of you guys while we get ready, so that we can talk to Trista Stueart, who is our lead counselor here at Timber Creek, and so that we can get some information about some of the great resources that counseling has put together for us, as well as some things you can do to kind of calm down a little bit, kind of find your center during these uncertain times. So here is Mr. Elms right now.
Hey, Falcon family. This is Mr. Elms, the technical director of theater at Timber Creek High School. We miss
Thank you.
And we just want you to be strong. Keep your creative juices flowing at home. This will not last forever. It will all be over soon. Practice kindness and stay healthy. Thanks. Hey, Falcon family. This is Mr. Elms.
Can say that we're doing at this moment in time. So what are some of the things that we as students, teachers, people who are in this social isolation can do to help each other sort of calm down and find some center?
Well, first thing I want to say is I reached out to my team today to see if they had anything that they wanted to share with you guys from them. And they wanted me to tell everyone that they miss the kids and that they're here for them and that they are still going to be there available for anything that they need. So please reach out. I think that most of us get an education because we love kids. And so when we're away from that part of it, we really miss it. And so I want the kids to know and the parents to know that please reach out to us and ask questions and anything that we can do to calm at the district level, what we're doing in the backgrounds. We're coming up with lots of SEL lessons, guidance lessons that will help us get through this, the anxious, the fear, the anxiety that some kids may be feeling and parents may be feeling is not just what's going on around us with the virus, but also the worry about grades and what does this look like for school and college and graduation and our seniors and some of the things that we know that they're missing out on and feeling a little frustrated about. And so that's coming soon. We're also looking at ways to incorporate some SEL guidance pieces into our teachers' lessons. So we're kind of getting it at both ends. We're also going to keep our resources coming on the website, on Timber Creek's website, and also at the district level on the counseling page websites. As we receive resources and create resources, we will put that available to families as well. As far as the Timber Creek counselors, we are going to be sending out some things in the next week, just some resources and some things that we've put together that may answer quite a few questions. Of course, it's changing daily, if not hourly, and so we'll continue to update that as we move forward.
And that's great information. One of the things that I think is really great that hopefully parents and students know is that they can email their counselor, and hopefully that person will be able to get back in touch with them, fairly quickly. Obviously, there's a lot of kids, and we have a lot of different things going on. So as they are connecting with those people, what are some of the things, what are some of the sort of, I would say, priorities that we're looking to try to answer as quickly as possible?
I'd probably say our team is fantastic, and they have been in communication with parents and kids. Anyone that's reached out to them, we are working. It's not even an 8 to 4. We're really evenings. We're talking. We're Zoom meetings. We're answering kids. Weekends, we've been talking all through the weekend. So our priority, what I've asked the team to make their priority moving forward, is our seniors, communicating with our seniors and their parents, watching our students that are doing online classes like through Edgenuity, whether it be for credit recovery or dual credit, things like that, making sure that we're communicating with those kids so that they are staying on task, and that they are staying in the mode of learning, which we're going to be starting this week, really moving forward with that. And so I want to make sure that we're taking care of those kids at our most high-risk kids that we are most worried about, and probably they are worried about as well, and that's our seniors.
So one of the questions that we had in our chat here is about 2020, 2021 registration. What kind of information can you give to that at this moment in time?
That's a great question. We're actually really lucky because we finished our registration piece as far as meeting with the students one-on-one. Most everyone. We had our few kids that may have been absent. We tried to get those. And so those kiddos, we have taken care of. The change that they can change something that they requested goes through March 31st. And so that's still available. They can email their counselors if they want to make a change to their course request. Please do that, because we are still making changes as we speak from home, from our computer. We have all the capability to do that. We're going to be running a few reports to see about kids that don't have a scheduled request in. So those kids that we may have missed due to absences or whatever. And so we'll reach out to those kids to figure out their scheduled request for next year. But we were lucky enough that we saw most all of our population, both from the 8th grade level through 9th, 10th, and 11th grade for registration already. So I think we're pretty good with that.
Awesome. So again, just to reiterate for our people who may have missed it, email your counselor if there are any changes before March 31st, and then we'll kind of stay on track for that. For students that are having issues right now in terms of maybe anxiety or depression or stuff that's going on, are there any resources available for them?
We have some resources that will be coming out this week. We also have some district level resources that have been coming down from the district level, and then we're creating some of our own at Timber Creek. And so for now, please reach out to your counselors individually through your alpha, and we will email and contact very quickly. You're free to reach out to me. We also have our intervention counselor, Ms. Salon, and we can reach out to her. We'll be putting resources on the website. We have some, but we'll be putting more resources on the website that you can, and it's both for students and parents, because I know it's a trying time for parents too, and the stress and fear and anxiety is not just for the kiddos, because the year doesn't look like we thought that it was going to look right now. And so that's a big stressor, and parents working from home with kids and trying to facilitate learning in their own home, and then also work and worry about the economy. So it's a lot right now. So the resources aren't going to be focused solely on the kids. They're going to be focused on the entire family as well.
Yep, it's definitely one of those different shifts when you have kids home all the time with you.
Absolutely. And as Ms. Somerhalder said, please make a habit of checking your email. That's the way we're communicating as of right now. If we get the okay to communicate in other ways with counseling, it's a little tricky because there's a lot of privacy things that we have to take into account whenever we're making some decisions. And so for now, email is the best. And if you need a phone call, please email, and we can definitely call you back and be in touch with you that way. Our biggest thing right now that we're trying to do is find a way to connect with kids and parents in a more personable way besides email or website. And so that is the number one thing on our priority list right now.
Yep, and it's definitely one of those difficult kind of situations. Like you mentioned, we've got privacy concerns, and then also, whatever is the best way to communicate. Sometimes it's just a different process in that. I'm sorry, I'm having a little technical issues, but we can still hear you and we can still see you. What other kind of information do you want to share out to our audience here as we are sort of wrapping up this process, this portion of tonight's Ask Talent?
I just want to say that we really miss the kids. I personally, and I know that my team does, they've expressed that. We really miss interacting with the kids. We are really worried about kids feeling overwhelmed and anxious, and us not being there to kind of love on them and support them like we enjoy doing at school. We also want to acknowledge our seniors. I have children that have all graduated from high school, and I know how important that senior year is and all of the fun things that come with it. And so I don't want to minimize that at all. And I want them to know that we are thinking about them and that we care about them and that we're here for them. The highlight of our day is not always Zoom meetings with a bunch of adults. There are emails from kids that we can reach out and talk to them and connect with them. So please continue to do that. It is no bother. That is what we're here for, and that's what we look forward to in the day. So.
Well, thank you again for being with us, helping give some of those pieces of information. In a couple of minutes, once we get sort of resituated here in a second for my friends here on the live stream, we're going to go through some of the resources that Keller ISD has already sent out and some of the technology resources and some of the other online learning kind of stuff. But for now, thank you very much, Ms. Stueart, for coming in and taking some time here on a Sunday night to talk to our Falcon family.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
You are super welcome. So thanks for waving goodbye. And again, we're going to be switching gears just a little bit. I wanted to share a couple more special messages and things like that so that we can show you some things that the teachers have put together. Apologies also, if we're losing some audio every once in a while and we got some things a little bit out of sync. The whole purpose of this is to also learn a lot for us here at TCTV and Timber Creek Talent. So we're working the best that we can through a lot of this stuff. But I wanted to share just a couple of videos that might make you smile and some messages from your teachers and some other things that I don't know, I don't know, you may enjoy while we're going through our next process. So here's some more stuff.
Girl, please do not leave me. Stick around like my cheddar cheese. Don't got money, you can count on me.
Coach Sterling here. Hope everybody's doing well. I miss all my Falcons so much. I know I'm looking a little rough, but I just got my run on. Basically because I'm eating so much in the quarantine, I want y'all to be able to recognize me when I come back. So I hope everybody's well. I love you guys so much. Can't wait to see all of your faces.
And that last one was Mr. Ward saying that he still cares about you and is still happy to see you guys. We're going to get some general information out here about Keller ISD COVID's response and just sort of some general information to kind of reiterate some of the things that you may have already heard on our stream, but also to help answer some questions. And again, if you have some questions, if you've got some things going on that you want some information for, feel free to send us a note here in our super chat or via Twitter or all sorts of different things, and we will try to get the most information out to you as possible. But as you have probably already heard, read, seen on our video chat, however, we are closed and through April 3rd due to the Governor Greg Abbott's public health disaster declaration, which is harder to say than you think. We are currently all closed until probably we won't even show back up until April 6th. That is still under determination. We had Dr. Westfall on earlier to give us a little bit more information about that. Additionally, as you may have noticed too, the Universal Scholastic League has said that's the UIL, has said all public schools that all public schools that all of the UIL games and contests will resume no earlier than May 4th. That is a long time away, and hopefully those things get solved a little earlier than that, but we're not 100% sure about that. A couple of pieces of information we want to share with you about social distancing. The Centers for Disease Control and Prevention have really continued to mention to avoid close contact with people who are sick and stay home when you are sick, except to get medical care. One of the things that's good just for hygiene all the time is to cover your cough or sneeze with a tissue and then throw that tissue away. Also, avoid touching your eyes, nose, and mouth. Another really important thing is to clean and disinfect frequently touched objects, surfaces, and all that kind of stuff. And then a key to this whole thing, and you've probably heard it a million times, is wash your hands, wash your hands, wash your hands for at least 20 seconds, especially after going to the bathroom, before you eat, and after you're blowing your nose, coughing, or sneezing. If you don't have soap and water, use an alcohol-based hand sanitizer with at least 60% alcohol, and always wash your hands with soap and water if your hands are visibly dirty. If you think you've been exposed to the coronavirus, people should definitely contact their healthcare providers. And there's a lot more information about how you can contact your healthcare providers on the Tarrant County Health website. You should definitely check that out. We know that school closure is hard. We've been talking about that the last couple of guests here. We know that it's a lot different than what we are used to, and that we are spending a lot of time, effort, and energy to help make sure that our people who have vulnerable populations, people who have special needs, people who have technology needs, people who are hungry, we are trying to serve them the best they can. One thing, just as a reminder too, the district is continuing to talk to the Tarrant County Public Health Department, the CDC, and the TEA to try to get all of this information. However, just to reiterate, Dr. Westfall mentioned the TEA is waiving all of these days, so we are not extending into the summer. I think we've got that all kind of that's good to not worry about that anymore. But the Tarrant County Health Department and the CDC, as well as other people around the state, are going to give us a lot of information about whether or not we're going to be able to go back to school and exactly when that's going to be going back to school. If you are still watching our live stream, which you should be because you're hearing me, the information for the Tarrant County Coronavirus Hotline and the Tarrant County Public Health Services is available on Keller ISD's page. And there's a really specific page that Keller ISD has put together called the COVID-19 Response. We highly encourage you checking there because that is the official word from the district. Meanwhile, while Keller ISD is sending out all this information, we are also going to be sending out that information via Twitter, via Talon, via TCTV, via all of these different processes that we can. We wanted to run through a couple of frequently asked questions because they're really important kind of things to get out there for our population, especially if they haven't heard this information before. One of the first things to know is about meals. The students who are under the age of 19, actually all children who are under the age of 19, are going to be able to get breakfast and lunch from our food service provider, Sodexo. All they need to do is be in a vehicle. They will be served curbside, available from 10:30 a.m. to 1 p.m. Monday through Friday during the closure. Now, these are at a number of campuses, and I'm going to try to read them out fairly quickly. But if you want these details, those exact locations, how to get there, definitely go to the website for more information. But Basswood Elementary School, Bluebonnet, Caprock, Eagle Ridge, Friendship, Heritage, Keller Harville, North Riverside, Parkview, Sunset Valley, and Whitley Road are all elementary schools that you can get these meals from. Some of those are in the Falcon feeder pattern, including Caprock Elementary, our Caprock Gators, who are very, very, very close to Timber Creek High School. So if you know where Timber Creek is, you probably know where Caprock is. All of these meals are healthy meals, including protein, grain, fruit, and vegetables. Milk is provided as an option. Additionally, we have a wonderful organization here called the Community Storehouse, which is in our sort of neck of the woods too, and they are going to remain open during the normal office hours, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Monday through Thursday, and 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. on Friday for emergency food boxes with ID. You're going to need a little bit more information for to pick that kind of stuff up, so please go to communitystorehouse.org for that information. We wanted to talk a little bit about AP testing because we get a lot of questions about AP testing. And so we wanted to tell you what we know in terms of AP testing at this point. So if you're reading our website along with this piece of information, AP, we're following the guidance in Keller ISD of the College Board, who is in charge of AP testing. And on March 20th, which was this past Friday, they mentioned that traditional face-to-face exams for AP testing is not going to take place. So College Board is offering 2 administration dates where students are going to be able to take their tests online. The exams are only going to be 45 minutes in length, and they will have free response questions and some other details on that. But the full exam schedule, including what free response question types that will be on each exam, are going to be sent out by April 3rd, which is roughly the time that we are supposed to, according to current hope, being back on campus. So we expect to hear a lot more information about AP exams specifically on April 3rd, and we'll communicate more, as well as the teachers who are teaching AP classes. They will be able to share a lot more information. Also testing, Governor Greg Abbott has waived STAR completely. We aren't going to have to worry about STAR at all this year, which is an amazing situation. So we won't have to worry about the requirements for STAR testing or end of course exams for the 2019-2020 school year. More information about that is going to eventually come out too. If you have more details, more questions or whatever, feel free to send us a note and we can see what will happen. A lot of people are asking about grades, and we mentioned it with Miss Somerhalder, but grades are on hold. Grades are completely on hold at this moment in time, so report cards, progress reports, IEP progress reports are on hold until further notice. All of the work that you're going to get starting tomorrow from your teachers is going to be for your learning experience only, not actually graded, which means some good stuff. But it is going to be good opportunities for you to learn a lot of great stuff, but not to get too stressed because so many things are happening. I want to take a quick question from our stream from Alexis. Hey, Alexis. Senior things like prom and graduation, we do not have the answers to that yet. Believe it or not, prom, graduation are both scheduled in the month of May. We are still in the month of March. We have a whole month in between it in April. One of the things that they are working on very, very hard is those behind-the-scenes situations like prom and graduation to see what's best for the health of everybody. We are looking with the Tarrant County health officials to try to figure out what kind of groups can be together. Jessica asked, no third quarter report card. Not at this time, Jessica. We have all progress report cards, all report cards, progress reports, and IEP progress reports are on hold. Even though we completed the third quarter of the teaching, and grading, we don't have those things being sent out really because they're shifting focus significantly. We are building the airplane while we are flying. Both Dr. Westfall and Ms. Somerhalder have mentioned on their earlier interviews that for teachers right now, the biggest process is to try to build these classes where learning can continue. And so right now, grades and report cards and stuff like that are not the priority right now. And so we really want people, both students and teachers, to not worry too much. Now, here's the other thing too, because we had a question about this last week, and so we took it to some experts about GPAs and how this would affect GPAs and all of this type of stuff. Well, so this is something that's happening across the entire nation. We have some schools that are out for the whole rest of the year. In the state of Kansas, they've closed schools for the whole rest of the year, and so GPAs. Structures about transcripts and things like that, this is going to have an asterisk in some form or fashion, but we don't have the details of exactly what's going to happen for these students at this time. I wanted to show you some other information here. I know we just had a bunch of nothing on the screen because I did this right. Keller ISD facilities are not available for rental during these closures, and something else, they are not available for people to just show up to. The buildings are closely being secured and maintained and double checked. Part of the reason is because they have spent a long time cleaning every single surface from our fantastic custodial services department, but also that means running the track, playing on tennis courts, and all of that kind of stuff is off limits at this time. And you need to be very, very cautious because it could be considered trespassing if you're in the wrong place at the wrong time. Verification of enrollment is another good question. For Timber Creek specifically, we are having a verification of enrollment that is available online. So we're switching over to Timber Creek Talon, but if you haven't been to Timber Creek Talon, we have an entire section covering the COVID-19 report, the 19 outbreak, and we have an article specifically how to get your VOE. It's very, very similar to how you've done it before. Let me zoom in for our folks here really quickly, but due to the widespread nature of this stuff, all you need to do for a VOE is to go to the Timber Creek High School website, very similar to how you've done it before. Click on Students and Families, and then click on Attendance, order your VOE, complete the form, and then the student's VOE is actually going to be emailed to them. One of the big questions that we've had for people who are trying to apply for a driver's license or to change a document or any kind of different things, it normally takes about 2 days to get your VOE, and it is only valid for 30 days. So please make sure that you have that inserted here and ordered online. If you haven't ever been to timbercreektalent.com, while I have some people, you should definitely go. That is our fantastic student-created website, our student newspaper website. It's all powered by students, and they are working while this is going on. Which is just fantastic. Wanted to update you about a couple other numbers here real quick. Keller Schools has just tweeted out a couple minutes ago saying that about 5,000 families have submitted requests for about 7,000 Chromebooks. So if you heard from Dr. Westfall earlier today or from Ms. Somerhalder too, a lot of people are trying to get access to that technology. And a huge thank you to the Keller ISD technology staff who worked hard throughout the weekend to prepare distribution for this, because it is really, really hard to get all of these things together and to get it ready to go for people. We're going to take just a short little break, send out some videos, send out some positive messages and things like that, retweak a little bit of a setting here so that we can answer some more questions for you, and then also hopefully be able to get you a couple other pieces of information. So if you haven't seen these before, fantastic. I'm glad that you get to see them again. If you have seen them before, thanks for tuning in again and staying with us as we all get through this process of making all this stuff work together, which is kind of fun and also kind of difficult at the same time, to be honest, at this moment in time. But we are gonna work through the process here together. So we'll be back in just a minute.
Hey, Falcon family, this is Mr. Elms, the Technical Director of Theater at Timber Creek High School. We miss you, and we just want you to be strong. Keep your creative juices flowing at home. This will not last forever. It will all be over soon. Practice kindness and stay healthy. Thanks.
Hola, familia de Falcon, Señor Biggs, aquí estoy hablando español todavía. Hope everyone's having a great time. This week's going to be awesome when you start learning things online. Please keep me updated. If you're one of my students, I'll see you on our Canvas or on Remind. But if you're not a current student, please stop by an email, Twitter. Let us know how things are going. We miss you, and we know it's going to be a good week. I hope you learn a lot. And a future Falcon wants to say,
Hi, Falcons.
have a great night. We'll see you this week online.
Girl, please do not leave me. Stick around like my cheddar cheese. Don't got money, you can count on me.
Coach Sterling here. Hope everybody's doing well. I miss all my Falcons so much. I know I'm looking a little rough, but I just got my run on. Basically because I'm eating so much in the quarantine, I want y'all to be able to recognize me when I come back. So I hope everybody's well. I love you guys so much. Can't wait to see all of your faces.
Hey, Falcon family, this is Mr. Elms, the technical director of theater at Timber Creek High School. We miss you, and we just want you to be strong. Keep your creative juices flowing at home. This will not last forever. It will all be over soon. Practice kindness and stay healthy. Thanks.
Now I gotta brag. I gotta brag. We gotta brag specifically. Oh dear. My audio got really weird. I think I fixed it. Do you see me now? Okay. I gotta brag. I gotta brag on a very special group of people who are out there right now. Hopefully, you're seeing them right next to me over that way. They are your yearbook staff from this year, and I need to explain what Herculean, amazing things that they have done for you this year. So, our yearbook staff, our yearbook specifically, works throughout the entire year to try to make the best product for you. They take pictures, they write articles, they put together amazing, amazing things. And to do this, normally they have all the way till, roughly, next week-ish to get their stuff together. But this week has been the week that things had to get done. In fact, specifically, this Friday, just 2 days ago, was their deadline for this year. Now, their book does not get delayed because we are not in school. In fact, their book had to come out no matter what because it has to physically be printed and created. The big problem is getting all of this work done, this work done takes a ton of effort, a ton of time, and they do so much work. One of the things that they use to do that work is locked up in the school. We have a server that helps connect all of the photos and the spreads, which are the pages, and all of this information together into this amazing 464 page book that they get to go, all together. And so one of the things that happened, over spring break, they took a short little break, as well they should have, and then they came back and we were, closed here. And so for the last Oh man, like for the last like 80 something hours, we or not 80 something hours, but for the last 4, 5, 6 days, our fantastic yearbook staff has done an amazing Herculean job of getting the photos, the videos, not the videos, but the photos and the spreads and the information that they needed out of that server and packaging it all, and the yearbook is done. The yearbook is done, and it is going to be, and it is being uploaded and has been uploaded to the printer. It is sent out there, and so we will have a yearbook this year, even with coronavirus being a challenge. And that is just one of our amazing student media programs that we have here at Timber Creek. We are very fortunate. I feel very fortunate to be working alongside the amazing Kathy Beers, who's the advisor for the Timber Creek Yearbook and who's been with Timber Creek ever since it opened. So she's been there all 11 years, helping capture the amazing history of Timber Creek. And we are capturing history together. We have Timber Creek Talon, which is our student media, sort of our student online newspaper, which is continuously publishing information. As of the first day that we found out that we were going to have a little bit of a delay, or not even a little bit of a delay, but so we were going to be closed, we had that information out within 30 minutes due to the great impact of our student leaders, including editor-in-chief Brooke Boyer, and as well as news editors Serena Shaboot and features editor Alina Davis and Julia Elliott and a whole bunch of other people who've been a part of this the whole way through. Meanwhile, not only have we been creating content for Timber Creek Talon, we've been working on processes and projects like this for TCTV. You've seen a couple of their videos in there, but we'll have more coming as well. A big thank you to Nathan Gajari, Monty Luna, and some of the other people who've been working really, really hard behind the scenes to help get us some of this stuff all together. And even there's a ton of people who are behind the scenes who are commenting on Slack and all of these types of things to try to get the most information out, not only to each other and to connect with each other, but also to help the community. What we're really trying to do with events like this, or our other Ask Talent events, or stuff on Timber Creek Talent, or stuff on TCTV in the next couple of weeks, is to get accurate information out to you. But as a former media person myself, before I came to teach at Timber Creek, I worked for NBC5 in Dallas-Fort Worth. So I'm very, very used to this whole breaking news situation, and I know it can be kind of overwhelming. One of the things I really want to recommend to anybody out there who's a little bit overwhelmed from all of these news updates coming in all the time is don't feel bad about taking a little break. It's okay to go in, get your information, and then step out for a while. Find some other things to do. Me and my family are playing Mexican train dominoes, having a great time with that. I've gotten some time to do some video games. I've built this bizarre studio thing, which seems to be working better than I expected. But take some time for yourself and for your family. Find some ways to do some fun things together in between all the online learning. Want to get to a couple other questions that came in during our little bit of break and things in there. About the yearbook. We still have about 70 yearbooks left. In case you want to buy a yearbook and you haven't bought a yearbook yet, first off, what are you doing? Like, if there was ever a year to buy the yearbook, it's this year. Yes, they do have a Corona page in there, so they were able to create something like that. There are about 70 yearbooks left at yearbookforever.com. That's yearbookforever.com, all one word. Make sure that you pick one up as soon as possible. They are absolute keepsakes. They are nationally recognized. We have some of the best student photographers that we have ever had at Timber Creek. Amazing page designers, great people, and it is a collaborative thing that we like to do. Thank you, Mrs. West, for being out there and saying thank you for putting on the video. I miss all of our Falcons a lot. I like to see especially of my students, but I also like to see the rest of the Falcon community, so hopefully this will be very, very helpful. We mentioned about no third quarter report card, and we also answered the questions about prom and graduation, which is we just don't know. Parents, for approving requests for any switches of classes for next year, you'll get that communication through email through your counselor. Anybody who commented about my bad sound, sorry. We worked through some of this process. If you still haven't heard from your teachers yet, give them a little bit more time. The teachers specifically, are building classes, and for some of those teachers, our classes are so hands-on. Mr. Elms, who sent a wonderful message, for you to keep your spirits up, has people, sawing things and building things, and translating that to an online class can be very, very difficult. I think a lot about our fine arts departments, our band departments, and our choir departments who are finding innovative ways to put this stuff together. A big shout out to choir and Adrian Kirtley, the head choir director, for figuring out a way to get all of these people to learn a song in German, I think, doing a very good job. I had a question about somebody saying, where do you find your schedule? There's not an exact schedule going forward. There are no actual bells. There are no actual meetings that you don't have to be on a Zoom meeting if you don't want to. Let me switch over to my single live because it will make a little bit better sense. There's not actually a specific schedule going forward for learning. Instead, you're really going to have to work really hard to figure out a plan that works for you. A lot of teachers are going to send out information via Canvas, via Google Classroom, whatever. Please check your emails. Please check your emails. Please check your emails to get that information. Please check Remind 101, sign up, and then text a friend, too. If you have a friend that's in that class and you want to double check, not only would it be good to check in with them, but it would be really good to make sure that you're not falling behind on any of that information. Let's see. That's all of these types of things that I'm seeing now. The stuff is changing all of the time, so obviously things that we tell you tonight could change in the next 24 hours, but a lot of what we're trying to get to you is static. I had a question from I think it's Jamelet Park on Ask Talent on Twitter, and thank you for sending in those questions. You can continue to do so. What's the Zoom schedule going to be for next week? I do not know the answer to how we're going to do, if we're going to do something like this again next week, which has gone very well so far. But I do not know if there's going to be a specific Zoom schedule for next week. One of the things that we're working out both through teachers and administration is seeing if there's some regularity that we can offer to our students, but we also want to offer the flexibility for our teachers to be able to connect with students and help them the best way that they possibly can. And so it's a little bit of a challenge to sort of to figure all of that kind of stuff out. Glenda, thank you for the question about specifics on impacting on graduating seniors. Seniors are something that we're all really, really concerned about. I'm really sad that I'm gonna miss spending some of these last few weeks of them as seniors. When they're at home. But the other good news is that both from the counseling aspect and from the administration aspect and from the aspect all the way up to Dr. Westfall, they are working very, very hard to make sure that all of the opportunities that we can provide to seniors, that are safe to provide to seniors, we can. Safety is the number one concern here. One of the biggest challenges about this situation is if we've got if the CDC and some other public health officials are saying, hey, stay away, groups of 10, that makes some of these things that we normally come together and celebrate a little bit harder to do. We're working really, really hard to figure out alternate ways of making sure this happens, making sure we get information out to people as well. Let's check if we have any more questions, comments, or concerns. Well, feel free to send in more questions here for the next, I think maybe 15 or so minutes. Most of our people have gotten what they needed and left, and that is okay by me. I don't really need to spend this, forever. But additionally, if there are some additional informations that you need, send us a note, put it out on Twitter, send me a little bit in Slack if you're one of my Slack people who are saying very nice things. Thank you friends. But there might be one or two other things that are getting tweeted at us. Double checking a couple other feeds to see if we have anything else that we need to share. Here's a general question that are from the seniors that have asked: will seniors still get their cords, caps and gowns, etc. if we don't return to school? I am not sure about all of those types of commencement situations, whether they be cords or things like that. At the last check, Balfour, which is the group that sells the cap and gowns, was temporarily closed down. However, it's my understanding that almost all of that kind of stuff has been paid for and will show up if it hasn't shown up already, and so that seniors would be able to collect that stuff. That also kind of ties into the idea about yearbooks, because you want to physically get your yearbook, and we are working on all the different possibilities. We may have drive-through yearbook delivery, we may have drive-through senior cord delivery, we may have drive-through whatever. We don't know the process of that kind of stuff just yet, but please know that we are asking those questions, and that the people who are in charge of those programs are answering trying to find the answers to those questions. I am but the messenger in a lot of these things in my overly LED'd and overly distracting point and all that kind of stuff. Again, I want to send out a really special thank you to the folks who sent in some good informations. Actually, the good messages out there. Thank you to Coach Sterling, Miss DeLeon, Mr. Ward, Senora Biggs, Miss Stonebreaker. Who I want to play this again because this is fun. So if you see this. Over here, that's actually Miss Stonebreaker running around in a unicorn to keep you entertained. I think this is great. This is such a fantastic thing. Not only is she keeping herself safe from the coronavirus, but also is encouraging you to keep smiling here. So here it is. It says, "Keep smiling," which is super nice message for our folks here today. We're going to try to close this out here actually in the next couple of minutes, since we're not seeing any more questions, which is totally great. That means that we answered a lot of those questions, which is super awesome and helpful. I love you too, Daniel. Thanks for the message. Thanks, Dan, and all sorts of other people out there for sending us those messages. Hopefully you are having an okay day. Remember, tomorrow that online learning begins. We are all in this together, and we really hope that you continue to find great ways to learn and reach out to the people that you care about a lot. Make sure you check in on your friends, make sure you check in on your loved ones, and make sure that you stay forever Timber Creek. Thanks a lot. Thanks. Have a great rest of your day. You're super welcome, Jessica. I enjoy doing it and trying to help out all of the other people out there. So until we see each other again, forever Timber Creek.